Hello everybody, Abyss Walking Cody again, and we are going to be continuing our Dark Souls walkthrough. This is part 3, and I'm going to be showing you how to get the Drake Sword. And an awesome weapon for early in game, and here we are. From where we last left off, I just climbed up the bonfire, went under the Hellkite's bridge. I'm in the second little alcove, and you can see his tail flailing around out there real quick. But essentially all you need to do to get the Drake Sword is get those arrows that I showed you last episode, and while I was not recording, I decided that I should probably go buy a few more, but after you shoot him, he's gonna get aggroed and he's gonna jump down onto the bridge. And if you get pretty decent at understanding where he's going to land, you can shoot his tail not only while he's sitting out above the bridge, but when he lands on the bridge, you can essentially still hit him. Make this process much quicker. And I just missed there, so. But you can do it by just shooting his tail up here, which is it's oh Jesus. Thanks Dark Souls. But yeah, it's much easier to hit his tail while he's sitting up over the gate out there, as you can tell. But I'm gonna keep shooting him in his tail when he lands on the bridge too, to make this process go quicker and not bore you all to death. So here we are. We're gonna continue with this, you know. But while we're doing this, I guess I'll go ahead and talk about what's gonna be coming up in this video. After we go ahead and get the Drake Sword, I'm gonna show you the stats on it and show you why it's such a good sword for early game. And actually, as I said, you can use it the whole entire game. It's just gonna cost you a few dragon scales and 10,000 souls per pop to level it up, but you can use it through the whole game. And definitely a good grab, especially early on like this. But I'm not going to be killing the Hellkite at this point in time. I'm just shooting his tail off to get the sword. So, but after we do this, we're going to be heading into the undead parish area. There's a few mini bosses that we're going to come across and end up making our way towards the Belfry gargoyles, who are guarding the first bell of awakening, which we have to ring, as we were told by the crestfallen warrior in our first episode, if you remember talking to him. Looks like I ran out of arrows. Now I'm gonna have to switch to standard arrows. And here we go. Oh, there it is, ladies and gentlemen, the Drake Sword. Let's take a quick look at it. Show a little joy. Not too complicated to do at all. Just make sure you have plenty of arrows in case you end up missing. Of course, I have insufficient stats. I believe you need, what, 16 strength? I don't have that quite yet. Yeah, but I can fix that pretty quick. But as you can see, it does 200 damage compared to my 83. You know, definitely worth using. I can use it two-handed. But it's gonna make me mid-roll again. We'll see how this works out. Definitely a good weapon for early game. See if I can fist with this guy real quick. Come on. The funny thing about these guys, oh, dear Lord. The funny thing about these guys is they turtle behind their shield and everything like that, and it definitely reminds me of the PvP element of this game sometimes. You know, you run into new players who have their shield up the whole entire time, you know, just turtling behind their shield. You gotta find ways to get around it. And there's weapons on the game to help you get around shields, and there's moves you can do like kick them in the shield. But it's neither here nor there. But alright, so moving right along here, we're gonna be making the Hellkite angry once again, and here we are. We're fast rolling again. Gonna aggro him. Let him burn everybody up here alive so I don't have to deal with them. And then he's gonna try and burn me alive, of course. So all I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna pull out my bow and I'm gonna go ahead and shoot him one more time so he lands, and I'm just gonna sprint by him. I'm definitely not entirely strong enough to be taking on the Hellkite right now, so I'm just gonna sprint by him into the undead parish, light this bonfire. And for anyone who cares, this bonfire is the Sunshine Altar bonfire, and Sunlight Altar rather. But right over here through these doors on the right, if you go through them, if you have the correct faith requirements, as I believe I talked about in an earlier video, you can join the Warrior of Sunlight Guild. But Covenant rather. I got Skyrim on my mind. And I'll be showing you how to do that later on. I just don't have the faith requirements yet. I might have to do some off-camera white sign summons so I can get that faith requirement lower so I can join. I'm not going to be dumping a whole lot of stats in my faith early on until I get maybe a few. Ooh. Check out his buddy coming in for the silent poke there. Oh, that parry didn't work either. Switching back and forth between Skyrim and Dark Souls a bunch is definitely throwing off my timing for parries and everything else. It's much easier on Skyrim to parry when somebody's doing a power attack. You just do the shield bash. There's no riposte on Skyrim, but I really wish there was, though. That would be an awesome element for Skyrim to have a riposte system similar to this game. Actually, the whole combat system on this game is definitely, oh lord. And this is one of the mini bosses I was talking about, the armored boar, and he does a lot of damage. Also, be careful in this tower right here. If you run all the way to the top, you're going to be greeted by a Black Knight with a Black Knight Greatsword, who I don't feel like fighting right now. I'll come back later, kill him, get his goodies. I'm going to be running past this boar, and I'm going to be taking him out with some different means. You'll see here in a bit. I like to use fire bombs on him. Makes it a very painless exchange for you. Easy to kill him. These guys turtling behind their shields. I wish they'd be a little more aggressive. That would definitely help me out. I may have to take out one of these archers real quick so I'm not taking any unnecessary hits, and that's what I'm going to do real quick. Oh, unnecessary hits, and then I take one. I'll probably take one more. Flask up. Yep, of course. There we go. I'll probably end up knocking him off the ledge before I actually kill him. Like such. But anyway, that's going to make things easier right now. Still waiting on this guy to decide he wants to do something. Here we go. Now we can carry on about our day. Of course, I'm going to get hit one more time. Throw some R2s his way. The whole move set for the short sword or long sword, I can't quite remember which sword I'm using right now, but it's definitely a good move set. I like it. If you were to upgrade this, maybe plus 15 and buff it later on in the game with a weapon buff, maybe a crystal magic weapon. If you're a intelligence build, faith build, you could use the Dark Moon Blade or the Sunlight Blade. Definitely a very viable weapon to use throughout the game and even in PvP. What am I doing? Looking so. There we go. Oh, jeez. Alright, so we're gonna come down here. Probably get charged by the boar again. Yeah, there he is. Rearing back. Oh! Yep. He hurts, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we're gonna go take care of him real quick. Normally, if you don't have fire bombs, and another easy way to take care of them is those little fires you see laying about. See how you just walk through it? That'll damage him. If you can lure him into those fires, you can kill him solely by doing that if you're good at dodging him. But I'm not going to really take the chance. I'm just going to stand up here and hit him with fire bombs. And if you have fire bombs, this is what I recommend you to do. Just go ahead and do this. On NG Plus, you can just stand there down there and tank him straight up if you would like. But seeing how this is an NG Plus, and I don't really have that high of a defense right now, so I'm just gonna hit them with some fire bombs. And as you can see, they're very effective. And check them out. There's all she wrote for the armored boar. And normally he drops a helmet, but apparently he doesn't want to drop it for us this time, so hell with that. And if you heard that bell ringing in the background there, that's actually a cool aspect of this game. That's somebody on their game has just beat the Belfry gargoyles and climbed up the ladders, which we'll be doing later on, you'll see, and ringing the bell. So essentially when I ring the bell in my game, somebody else in their game will hear me ringing the bell if they're in this area of the game. It's just kind of a cool little thing that happens, and always be careful with these guys. These guys in mobs are dangerous. As you can see, I'm taking a lot of unnecessary damage right now. But these guys can be dangerous when you get them in huge packs, and there's going to be huge packs of them throughout this area we're in right now. There's actually a part coming up soon where I think there's what a whole group of maybe 11 or 12 of them all together. And if you're not careful, they can get buffed by a channeler, making them even funner to deal with. So we'll talk. Oh my lord! But here's where you would get the master key if you didn't take it as your opening gift. It's not too far into the game you end up with a master key, but I'd rather just have it straight from the beginning and be able to do the things that I did at the Firelink Shrine. I'm gonna have to finish these guys off without taking any damage. Quick little back poke, and I forgot to grab this shiny down here, and I might as well show you. I mean, what the hell? What's the worst that could happen? I fall off and die and we get a good chuckle out of it? Yeah, let's do it. The falling damage in this game is a bit confusing at times. It doesn't look like that fall would actually kill you or even damage you, but in this game it definitely would. And seeing the amount of vitality I have left, I'm pretty sure that would put me 6 feet under. Respawning back at the bonfire and doing this all again is nothing that I want to do exactly right now. It doesn't interest me at all, so I'm gonna pop a humanity and get all my vitality back. But I'm gonna switch to the Drake sword real quick, and I'm gonna two-hand it because up here there's gonna be our first encounter with a Balder Knight. These guys can be pretty dangerous if you're not careful. And I'm just gonna sneak up and backstab him. You'll see me fighting Balder Knights throughout this area. But he's just guarding a Knight shield, and if you don't have the Dragon Crest shield, that's definitely probably the shield you'd want to be using for the Belfry fight and all that. I believe it does have pretty decent fire defense and physical defense. I think it's 100 physical. I don't quite remember what it is for fire, but it's not as good as the Dragon Crest shield. But we're gonna take quick care of these guys. Head down here. Pull out my humanity, and be careful for the pincher attack around this corner. There's going to be one of our favorite guys with the shield and spear turtling, one of the little hollow warriors, and our Balder Knight. I'm going to go ahead and just funnel him right in there and use the R2. Two-handed R2 with the dragon sword actually has it's imbued with a special power that lets it do a different type of attack. As you've seen, I just struck the ground and a little fissure sprung forward. Definitely a good attack for when you have a bunch of enemies running at you in a straight line. You can take out quite a few of them. I'm going to open this gate. It's essentially just a shortcut, playing it safe in case I do end up dying. Just open this gate, and it's where that the armored boar was, so I can run straight through this gate forward and grab the basement key that'll take us to the lower undead burg, where we can get in a little tussle with the Capra demon. That'll be a later episode, but here we are. Another one of our buddies, Balder Knights. Let's go ahead and take him out. Do be careful with the Drake Sword though, doing this R2 attack, because it damages the durability of your weapon a lot, and you'll either end up breaking your weapon before you can reach a blacksmith and fixing it, or reaching a bonfire if you have the repair box, which I don't right now. So I'm gonna have to. Jeez, man. Mid-rolling is just not helping me out at all. It's not. If I'd have caught that arrow right there, that would have been the end of it. I'm just going to lead these guys back in here, take them out one at a time. Pull out my bow. Switch back, two-hand. See what we got going on here. One down. And, jeez. Alright, two down. No? There we go. Let's go take care of this archer, and we're going to go visit our first blacksmith. Andre of Astora. He's the blacksmith you normally run into first, unless you run into the blacksmith in the New Londo ruins, but you can't really do anything with him because he needs magical embers, and Andre uses all the embers that you find early on in the game, like the divine ember, the very large ember, but he's essentially just gonna be able to upgrade your weapons from normal +5 to normal +10 to normal +15, or you can go the divine path, which makes the weapon then scale with your and after faith there's a cult, which you start to lose your any other type of scaling the weapon has, and it's strictly a faith scaling weapon at that point. But there's also different effects of using divine and occult weapons from Andre. Essentially, a divine weapon is really good against any type of undead enemy in the game, so you're going to get a damage bonus if you use a divine weapon against an undead opponent. And occult is better against living opponents, so many of the bosses in the game are weak against occult weapons. But this is Andre. I'm gonna learn his gesture real quick for the hell of it. And I'm gonna repair my Drake sword too while I'm here. Might do some leveling up quick. Be nice to be able to use the Drake sword in one hand. Put some stats in my strength to be able to do that. So let's run up here. Can't use the halberd either. The Morning Star does have bleed damage, which is another interesting auxiliary effect of weapons, as I was talking about. Divine does extra damage against dead. Occult does extra damage against living. Bleed damage is a counter that you can get on an enemy when you hit them with a weapon that does bleed damage, and the counter will keep increasing, and once it reaches a certain point, it'll actually do a massive amount of damage to their vitality if you put enough bleed damage on them. A very, very effective tactic against many of the bosses in this game, or anybody in PvP for that matter. And yeah, I'm gonna throw a point into strength here. Alright, let's continue on. Use the Drake sword. Gonna be mid-rolling again, which is not the best, but it's gonna make do for now. I'm gonna need some of this poise that I get from my chainmail. Up here, there's gonna be a Tower Knight, our first encounter with the Tower Knight and his massive mace, and I do not know what I'm doing right now. What am I doing? Not positive. I know what I'm doing. I'm turning human because I want to show you guys how to summon Slayer Vestora and Knight Lautrec for the Belfry Gargoyle boss fight. Which in turn, summoning those two makes the Belfry Gargoyles a very, very trivial boss. Not at all very challenging. But if you're having trouble with the Belfry Gargoyles, yes, do summon these two. They're definitely a help. And here I am. I'm gonna try and fix this. I'm gonna try and get back to a fast roll. Maybe I can put on my leather boots. Am I fast rolling? Yes, I am. Maybe I can put on some gauntlets. Maybe. No. I'm just gonna have to be the half-naked wonder for a while. The difference between fast rolling and mid rolling in this game is it's just astounding how much more viable fast rolling is than any other. And if you see that white fog on the door there, not allowing me to go back where I just came from, that means that somebody's trying to connect to my world. They're trying to invade me. And these are the summon signs on the ground. You can see them right here. These are actually other players, like other players online. This isn't any of the NPCs. But I'm not going to be summoning any people. I'm just going to be summoning NPCs. So, here's our buddy, the Tower Knight. He's going to try and flatten us with a mace, and I'm not going to allow him. I'm going to bring him out here for a 1v1 mono-e-mono situation. Make things much easier. But now that we're using the Drake sword in one hand, it's gonna... that hurt. Another thing about this game too is that you have iframes when you're on the ground, which helps out a lot. Because if I didn't have iframes on the ground, I would have most likely died right there when he was doing his double pound the ground attack right there. And as you can see, the Drake sword makes easy work of the Tower Knight. He's gonna drop us a Titanite shard, which is an upgrade material for normal scaling with Andre Vestora. And over here, definitely want to pick this up. This is your second Firekeeper soul if you did the great heist as I showed earlier on. And this is that channeler I was talking about earlier that can buff that group of hollow psychos. And I'm not entirely sure what their actual in-game name is, but there's definitely a group of about 11 or 12 of them up there, and you wanna be careful. If they're buffed by the channeler and his little dance, can make things a little hairier than they need to be. So I'm just gonna outrange combat this guy. His bow versus, or my bow versus his soul arrows. as of right now, you can definitely tell I'm winning this range battle. So, few more hits, and we'll have put the channeler out of his misery. And I think one more. There we go. So, those elevators right there are actually a shortcut back down to Firelink Shrine. I'll be using those later. But be careful with this guy. Anytime you see a Balder Knight with a rapier and those target shields, they will parry you. They can parry and riposte you the same as you can parry and riposte them, and it will kill you one hit. Many times if you're low vitality, as I am right now, and I probably will be coming through this area on your first split. As you can see right there, I was just trying to funnel these guys in here, and I was going to do the R2 on this, do that little fissure attack and take out a whole group of them. But as you can see, I was interrupted mid-attack animation, so I still hit the guy who interrupted me, killed him, but now I'm just gonna have to take these guys out the old-fashioned way. But as you can see, this is a large group of them. Large group. So, run over here. There's I believe a soul. Yes. And now we're gonna go free Knight Lautrec, so we can he can return to Firelink Shrine, and we can talk to him, and then in turn summon him for the Belfry Gargoyle boss fight. And I believe this is another Balder with a Balder side sword, so be careful he doesn't parry and riposte you. But I'm gonna heal real quick and roll away from him, see what I can do. And he's going to probably back off this ledge. Yes, he is, idiot. So I'm not gonna even bother with him anymore. I'm gonna go free Lautrec now. I'm surprised I haven't been invaded yet, since I'm in human form. And somebody was trying to invade me earlier, but apparently they didn't quite connect to my world. That's one problem with the PvP on this game. It's all peer-to-peer connections, so there can be a lot of latency in your matches, and there can be a lot of connection issues.
Thank you.
I really wish From would have just actually made a server for this game. Maybe they
yes, very sorry.
Maybe they just felt lazy and they figured a peer-to-peer connection would be good enough for this. But since you really don't normally, well, you can't get into a game with more than 4 players all together, really. And that's, of course, you invading a world with a host that has 2 phantoms summoned. I guess maybe you could summon more people if you kept summoning red phantoms from the red sign soapstone. I'm not quite sure, though. It's something I'd have to look into. But up this ladder is the Belfry Gargoyles, and probably going to be cutting this video off right here, and we're going to be starting again before we go in there. We're going to summon Solaire, summon Lautrec, and that is not Solaire. That is Solaire. But yeah, I will see you guys next episode when we take on the Belfry Gargoyles. Thank you for watching.